Just as I was wrapping up Premiere Pro for the holiday, IGN drops the news that Netflix has made a major purchase. Hello crows and non-crows alike, my name is Joe Mack, otherwise known as Support Crow, and today we're talking about the Warner Brothers acquisition, which is something I didn't think I'd ever say out loud, but here we go, I guess. I don't know, something about Warner Brothers having the Wizarding World just sort of like felt, I don't know, it made them sort of feel somewhat untouchable, but that was naive of me to think. Clearly I underestimate the desire of rich people wanting to be richer, so what happened? What's going on? Why are my Hogwarts Legacy crows freaking out? Netflix went and bought Warner Brothers and all of its media rights, Harry Potter included, and games, for a stunning $82.7 billion. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this. Normally, when these things kind of happen, I'm ranting against the corpo gods. But, on the one hand, I am concerned for a lot of people's jobs and the further impact this is going to have on the industry because, of course, as this normally goes, they're going to have to make back that $82.7 billion. Whenever these massive money deals happen, what typically happens is that corpos earn back that money by canceling projects, cutting jobs, and shutting down studios, often under the guise of promoting efficiency or some kind of commitment to future success or some other kind of corpo bullshit. In the end, what you typically have is a short amount of people who don't know how to even 3D sculpt a donut becoming richer while a lot of experienced personnel oversaturate the unemployment line. Suffice to say, in case you haven't realized by now, I am not a fan of these kinds of acquisitions. On the other hand, Warner Brothers was going to be bought by someone eventually. And between Netflix, Paramount, and Comcast, I would rather have Netflix. Perhaps HBO Max will get absorbed by Netflix and we'll be watching Game of Thrones and the new Harry Potter TV show on there as well. When it comes to Netflix and Warner Brothers together, I just see more opportunity there than the other two potential buyers. And who knows, maybe this turns into more Wizarding World shows. Maybe we'll see a Witcher or Stranger Things area at Universal Studios in Orlando one day. Say what you want about Warner Brothers, but they were smart about having their thumb in multiple pies. So overall, I think I'm more cautiously optimistic. I'm not worried about Hogwarts Legacy 2 because the franchise is already a billion-dollar franchise, and they're already some amount of time into development, and changing things midway could be disastrous. When we start getting into Hogwarts Legacy 3, that is when we, the people on the outside, are going to start to notice some changes if there are any. That's when I'll have a closer eye on them in that regard. Assuming I'm not working for them at that point. I should be out of school and graduated by Hogwarts Legacy 3, hopefully. Jesus. And while I'm not putting all my eggs in that basket, Avalanche Software is 5 miles from the university, so, there's a chance. So if you ever notice that I stopped talking about Hogwarts Legacy and Avalanche and Warner Brothers and I guess Netflix altogether, that's probably a good indication that I depend on them to pay my light bill. What I am worried about currently is the multiplayer RPG that is being developed by Avalanche. It is unannounced, it is unconfirmed, and the last time we had an unannounced, unconfirmed project being worked on at Avalanche, it was cancelled. Hogwarts Legacy has some protection, but this secondary project could face cancellation to save money, and it's free real estate for Netflix to dive in with their own desires and demands. But again, I'm going to be a little more optimistic. The most I expect out of Netflix is for them to ask a studio to make some kind of small game for them to include in their gaming section. Like, I don't know, a Harry Potter Potions Match 3 game. Something along those lines. I don't see them frothing at the mouth for something like Fortnite, and they don't have a lot of experience dealing with a lot of game studios at this level. So hopefully they lean more on the game studios themselves to lead in that department rather than trying to lead in an area that they are unfamiliar with. That would be the wise thing to do in my opinion. Warner Brothers has been full on engaged in the live service, microtransaction, always on gameplay slot machine, which can be argued is the reason why they are having to sell out to begin with. So hopefully we're moving to a company that isn't so horny for the fantasy of being the next Fortnite. For the fantasy of being the next Fortnite. I could be wrong, they could be absolute tyrants and flip the table on everything and turn Warner Brothers games into a factory that pushes out subpar mobile games. But I'd rather save the total doomsaying until I see something to doomsay about. How about you lot, though? How do you crows feel about the changing of the overlords for Avalanche software? Are you worried about Hogwarts Legacy, or do you think this could be a good thing? Only time will tell for certain, so until then, be safe, be well, be kind, bye-bye.